We're here at the Porter Shop. We're going to talk a little bit today quickly about tools that you might need for pickup installation. So if you're going to be putting in a set of humbuckers, strap pickups, telly pickups, here's some common tools that you may find make the job easier. Now there's all sorts of methods to do this. We realize you may need less tools than we have here. You may not need as nice of a soldering iron maybe as we use here in the shop, but really you want to make sure that you have enough tools to get the job done and get the job done well and effectively. So a good start is a multimeter. These are kind of a basic one. You can find these on Amazon, eBay. This one's got, let me see if I can get it here at the camera here. You can go down to, you got to make sure you have one that's usually like a 20K setting there so you can test resistance on the pickups. You want to make sure obviously the pickups work before you do all the work to install them into the guitar. So multimeter is definitely a must. I like to have some sort of Sharpie, some kind of marker, that way you can mark the pickups as they come through, either the hot wires or the ground wires, to make sure that you are soldering in the right pickup and you're not tracing back the wires. You can also use the multimeter for that as you're testing the resistance of the pickups, and you can kind of decipher it that way. But sometimes it's good, like on Strat pick guards, we'll put one notch for the bridge, 2 notches for the middle, that kind of thing. So, and even on the 4-conductor wire for the humbuckers, you can also add those little bit of color there to make your job easier. So you could go as far as color coding stuff or just doing like we do, like a silver or black Sharpie. Works totally fine. Tweezers are great. You can grab the wires and route them around. You can also hold down, when you're soldering to a pot, you can hold down the wire as the solder cools, so you're not obviously using your fingers. These are invaluable. Really a good set of tweezers too, something that actually has the capacity to really hold something down at the end of the tweezers as well. Screwdrivers obviously for adjusting pickup heights, getting off cavities. It's pretty straightforward, but make sure you have the right kind of screwdrivers. Some smaller precision screwdrivers are always good for adjusting the small humbucker screws and pickup height screws on the Strat, things like that. We always recommend some kind of tape. You can use shrink wrap, things like that. We use pickup tape for basically holding wires together, making our cavities neater, making sure that we're routing everything correctly, just kind of cleaning it up as well. These are handy. We've talked about these in a couple videos. These are wire strippers. So if you're using a 4-conductor or a plastic shield on the outside of wires, these are huge. They will save you tons of time. You just have to squeeze it. You can find these at Lowe's, Amazon. They're just the Irwin vice grips. If you happen to need to clean up some solder, you can get a small solder sucker, solder pump, something like that. It's maybe $10 or so. You can find one of those at most places, again online as well. So that'll allow you to clean up some solder if you're working with a previous job and you need to get some solder out of a switch lug or something like that. That's really important. So on to the soldering stuff here. You want to use, I like to use silver solder, something that's got a really nice contact. It's going to dry clean. Good clean connections mean clean installs. So that's important. Also some flux as well. If you happen to need flux, most of the time you don't necessarily need it, but there may be a problem pot or something that you've got to add some flux to help everything bond and flow a little better. And then we'll go ahead and move the camera over here just while we're talking. Very low production video, but that's okay. We're trying to just show you guys what we do here. So we have this digital soldering station, about $70 to $100 for that. It's kind of a lot of money to spend for a solder station if you're only doing one pickup job. But if you see yourself soldering more pickups or messing with guitar pedals, anything in the future, a good solder station is going to save you a lot of time and a lot of headache. So something like this that's got the whole container here, you've got a nice fine tip, so getting right into the areas that you need to on all the lugs. So we're going with a quick overview of stuff you might need, but that's a great solder station. This is the digital version of that solder station. They also make a non-digital version, I think, that is probably $50 or $60. But we do highly recommend that. We use that at one of our stations here in the shop for all of our pickup assembly. So really good value. Again, if you're going to do more stuff in the future, it's probably worth buying. I do recommend that you get at least a 40-watt soldering iron, making sure that you can melt the solder. You want to stay on the pots, not too long, things like that. But we'll go over the technical parts of putting in the pickups. But this is just a quick overview of the tools that you might need for the job. So thanks for watching.